So now we have learned scope. I wanted to make you guys aware of the name template. So what is actually name template? So name template is if you can define your own custom templates within the Helm chart, and then you can use those templates at multiple places within the chart. So let me explain what I mean. So let's take an example of our config map. What we wanted to do is we wanted to add some values in the labels actually. So what we're going to do is we'll define, and this is actually done by 3 parameters. So define, template, and then we'll talk about include as well. But let's look at the define and the template. So let's see what do I mean. So let's say define, and I want to define a template, right? So I need to name the template first. So what I need to name is my label, I would say, and then I will end it, and then just so that there is no gap. And then what I want to define in this is I want to define a label saying label, and label should be, let's say generator is Helm, and the date, let's say date is, I'll define a function now, and what format I need is it should be okay, this new station, but this how it should. So this is my label defined. So what I want is, so wherever I want to use my label, I want to define in this way. Let's define a small, okay, and then where I want to use this label. So let's say I want to use it here. So when I wanted to use them, how I will use it is using template, let's see, template, and then the name of my label, which is let's run this. Okay, so let's see our config file. What did it do? So in our config map, we have a new label called labels, name is generator, and we have a date. Okay, so next thing is, suppose we wanted to add additional parameters, which suppose a chart names, let's say. So we'll add chart, and the value should come from chart.name. Okay, so let's call this again. So when I call this, I should, so I got, sorry, so okay, so there is an error here. So chart is not defined in the config map. And why do we see so? So let's say space, oh sorry, like so, because these are the defined templates. So let's run it again. Okay, so this has passed. Let's look at the config map. So we have the value for generator, the date, but we don't have a value for chart. Why so? So we called it as a template, and this is we are calling inside our config map.yaml. But what happens here is because we have because inside this template doesn't know anything about our charts because this template is not in that scope. So how do we pass the scope to this template? So we can pass a scope to the template is by just adding a dot. That's it. So we're saying pass our current scope into this template, and within this template we have a chart. Then it will know about the chart dot name. So let's run this, and if we see it now, so chart name is hello world. So that's how we define it. There is another thing which we generally define templates is in the helper file. So instead of keeping it in the chart itself, we define a separate helper file which is helpers.tpl. So this is basically a template file which has so if you see, like, any YAML file which is in the template is being rendered as a YAML file, but anything which is with underscore and template will not be rendered. So this is just a helper file. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our define section from here to our here. Let's see if it passes. Okay, so it did pass, and then we see if it is same results, the result is same. So basically we can move all the helper, the define section into the helper file. So this is one thing. The next thing is the include. For include, let's take an example. So what we want to define here is in helper file, I've already defined another section, which is I want to define two more labels, app name and the app version. So which is taking values from chart.name and the chart.version. So now I will call these values in our config map. So I'll call here template.chartName, and I'm also passing the current scope. And same I want to do at the end of the config file, which is in the data section. So let's run this and let's see what happens. So when I see now I have two labels here in the label and two labels here in the data section as well. So but if you see the indentation has not properly come up. So I need it to be under the label, and I need this to be under the environment or just in the level of environment. So I need 1 or 2 spaces here, and I need 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces here. So what I need to do, so if I wanted to, I mean, ideally it should be very simple. So what we should actually be able to do is just say indent, and I need 4 spaces here, and I should just say indent and 2 spaces here. So which looks fine, but let's see if it works. No, it won't work, because what happens is template is not a function. So you remember we discussed about the pipe and these functions. So these are different functions, and the value from the output of one function is piped into the input for the second function. But because template is not a function, it is not outputting any value which can be passed into the indent. So what should we do now? So we have another function which is available in Helm, which is called include. So now this is a function. So now what happens is the output of this is being passed into indent, and then that's converted in with the indentation. So let's see if it works now. Okay, so it is passed, and if we see the labels, so app labels, it has come under the 4, and it has come into the right indentation. So that's the include part.